one thing that I'm big at is we're going to create competition. We'll let guys battle for starting jobs, and we're going to put it out there. So bottom line is I think that's what makes us better as a football team. I felt like offensive line is a spot where we got to improve. We certainly didn't have an outstanding year up front, so it's an emphasis that we're really, you can tell in recruiting what we emphasized on. So hopefully we'll have a lot of big-time competition in the spring. That's what football's all about. So I'm looking forward to watching those battles.
You had some running backs move on after this season. Obviously, you had 3 young guys that played a lot towards the end, but you look at the young man out off the coast. Can you talk a little bit about him? He's TQ Newsome. Is he going to be a running back, wide receiver?
He's going to be a running back, and TQ's that 6'2", 210-pound running back that, again, he's kind of multi-dimensional. He played quarterback in Gulfport, but he's a big, talented athlete. He's young. So just looking forward to getting him in the mix. I felt like, really, as far as skill positions, he was the most talented player on the coast. I really did. I felt like, in our book, he was the #1 player on the coast, but that's a bar none. But we were excited to get him. We committed him in early in summer, and just an exciting get for us. And I think he'll be a great player for the Golden Eagles.
Coach, could you talk about Antavius Willis? He's a guy that went under the radar. You guys got on him and stayed on him.
Get a big smile on my face because I think, like in the Mississippi-Alabama game, a lot of people ranked him the #1 or #2 player in the entire practice session at the Miss Al practice, and we knew that. We knew he was probably the #1, in our opinion. You know, we felt like in the state of Mississippi, he scored 7 touchdowns in a game. He's overly athletic. He can make you miss. He can accelerate. I love his demeanor. He is a Southern Miss guy. You talk about that guy with the chip on his shoulder, the guy that's a kind of a hardcore, tough guy, again, and he's talented with the football in his hands. So, Antavius, I think, is just going to be an outstanding football player here, and we're expecting big things out of him.
You got 2 quarterback commits today, Jaden and young man out of Texas. Can you talk a little bit about those, about Jaden? What is something that maybe those 2 guys bring to the mix that you don't have on the football team already?
Jaden kind of reminded me of Byron Levinson. I was with Byron a long time ago in college, but a guy that can really throw the ball, got a great frame, but he's also a guy, Jaden doesn't get enough credit either as he's a pro-style guy because he can throw it. He throw it. He's got an outstanding arm, but Jaden can also pull it and hurt you with his feet too. So we just felt like the #1 ranked quarterback in the state of Tennessee. We just felt like, at quarterback, to me, that's a position where there's got to be competition. And Jaden's a guy that was just a big get for us, and we're looking forward to getting him on campus. And then Chandler Rogers, again, Chandler's a dual threat guy that's talented. He can do it with his legs and his arm. He's a guy that, again, I think he threw for 2,200, rushed for 1,200. So a quarterback's a position where we're going to create that competition, and we feel like we've done that with our signing class.
Is it too early, or could you say that one of the 2 or maybe both of them would be battling in the spring to maybe start?
Or is it position I'm battling? I'm always letting them battle. That's a position, y'all know me. With quarterbacks, they're going to battle. The best man's going to win.
Coach, over this class, particularly the previous class, y'all done a great job of identifying high school kids that can graduate early and come in and enroll early. Can you talk about some of those guys and how big that is for their maturation process?
You look at like Trace last year. I mean, and we were able to get out of junior college last year. Jack last year. I mean, those are guys that after Quadre was dismissed in the middle of August, we didn't have a quarterback. Thank goodness. Jack had gone through the spring, so we were able to plug him in. Can you imagine if he showed up August 1st? What type of dilemma we would have been in? We'd have been 5 weeks before we even started the season. You know what I'm saying? So getting those guys in, that's critical because those guys allow you to at least they get in, they understand the system, they're ready to go, they understand the things, the scheme, they understand what they have to do to lead the football team. So again, Trace is another guy. I mean, we don't get Trace in. What's our center position looking like last year? So the one thing I do love about the signing class, we're getting a lot of guys in early, and we're getting a lot of offensive linemen in, and I think we're addressing some needs.
Can you talk about Bozeman, Swayze Bozeman? It seems like you watch film on him, and he's just such an athlete.
Yeah,
and
we had Swayze in camp, and Swayze, again, he's that guy that's physically, he's mature. He's 4'5", 1 in the 40. He's a guy that is bench pressing in that 385 range to 400 at linebacker. So you got a guy that can step in. We talked about signing Eric when we lost Ladarius, where we lost with Sangster walking out the door and Ruff and Wald, and we felt like we needed to bring a linebacker or 2 in. And so hopefully we'll bring a couple at that spot, and Swayze's one of those guys. So he immediately steps in and gives you a body that's athletically and physically ready to play. So again, it was a big get. Swayze was a guy that we loved since this past summer, so we're excited about him.
Coach, y'all obviously address some key needs with your offensive line.
Right.
Can you talk about what y'all are looking for on the back end to fill in February?
Well, linebackers still, we've got some great commits there, but we can't talk about King. I've got to sit around and go, but we're looking at positions like running back, linebacker, those hybrid guys, outside backer DNs. We're still, looking for those guys. So those are kind of our immediate needs. Good.
What's the question?
Go ahead, Joe.
The signing,
fire away.
since you got the February date in front of us, is it open between now and February to sign, or does it close and then it comes back open?
It closed where we have a little block here for the initial signees the next 2 or 3 days, but then it closes, and then it will be dead until February. So we got a few more days where you can actually sign, but then after that it deadens out over the holidays. So we might put some pads back on you. Let's go.
How many? What's the numbers? Well, I was just curious. What's the numbers you're hoping to sign this year? Are you hoping them? Are you going to push some forward again, or are you? What are y'all numbers wise?
We'll have to, but we can only get 25 between August. That's the NCAA rule. That's the level we're still playing.
Yeah, catch up
with right now, and we will get to about 81 now. So we're closing. We're closing fast. It's better than 68 and 72 the last year. So we're getting back to 81. So even though you'd like to be at 85, I'll take 81. 81 is not that far off. When you play with 68 and 72 scholarships, you're basically playing on probation. Is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done the last 2 years. So getting back to 81 is a big help for us, especially when you look at too. You start looking at depth, and you look at our board now. It's kind of fun to walk in there and just kind of look at, okay, we got 16 O-linemen. Okay, we got 16 DBs, instead of, 7, and then you're out the door.
Coach, could you talk about Chris Scruggs? Y'all committed him early and protected him and stayed on him throughout the process.
I felt like, at Florida camp, I was down there. I really felt like he was the best athlete I saw amongst probably about 1,500 to 2,000 kids, and just with his size, his catchability, and athleticism. He's a guy that I think is an NFL football player. He's a 6'3" frame, maybe taller. He's going to be that 6'3", 205-pound wide receiver that can really go get it. So again, big target. I think Chris is just, the sky's the limit for him. He's a guy that I have just loved for a long time.
Is he a guy that's coming in early, or is he?
He's coming in early.
That's what. Okay.
What's the numbers?
I think we got 12 coming in early.
Yeah, so I was fixing to ask you.
So 12 are coming early, so that's another good gift from last year. So we get them in here, and we went over the Rockies and we went to the Atlantic Ocean. We've been rolling. But we really felt like we targeted about 8 to 10 junior college offensive linemen, and the 3 signees we got were in those 8. So we felt like that was huge. And then like I talked about O-line wise, when you look at Coker, you look at Louis, you look at Matt, you look at Jaquan, we felt like, high school wise, it's hard to find 4 offensive linemen. Y'all watched that game, Mississippi Valley game. Coker dominated guys up front on the line of scrimmage. And Tavius was ranked the #1 or #2 player in the entire practice session at the Miss Al game. So those type guys, we felt like were guys in the state of Mississippi. We felt like we got the cream of the crop, in our opinion. I don't know, it's us personally, but it is what it is.
Did you talk about America's driver? That's kind of an interesting athlete you guys found.
Yeah, we needed again with our numbers, and I hope you understand. I haven't been able to sign a tight end almost in 2 years, and because last year we had to sign 9 defensive backs. We wouldn't have a defensive backfield, and we wouldn't have a special teams. And we had to sign some linebackers. We had to. So we just said, the one position maybe we can get away with without signing last year was tight ends. We had Jay Sean back, and we had a walk-on or 2 that we were able to kind of plug in there. But we felt like now, finally, and I said this last year, I think this year we can finally sign some tight ends. So we were able to sign Narcus, and we were able to sign Luke. And one's an older guy, one's a younger guy. So I feel like, you know, when you look at Narcus, I think he's ready. He's 240, 45 pounds. He'll probably be a 255 pounder. He's wide, he's thick, he's strong, he's fast, he's physically ready. Luke is a young man that's 6'5", about 220 right now. He's going to be that 6'5", 250. He's going to be a special football player. But, you know, it gives him a little time also to get in here and beef up and bulk up and become that guy. But when you watch Luke catch the ball too, you're looking at a very talented tight end that can catch, he can block, he can accelerate. So, you know, we really wanted to get some tight ends, but again, our numbers didn't allow it the year before. So again, that helps us.
The 6 JUCOs will come in early. You said there's going to be about a dozen.
It'll be about 12, Tim.
Total?
Total, I think so. You know, off the top of my head, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I think we're 12. We have 12 guys.
So 6 high schoolers you anticipate rolling early?
Yeah, I think Coker will roll early. Let's see, high school wise, let me see here. I think Louis will enroll early. I think Chris will enroll early. Matt, I think, will enroll early. TQ will enroll early. Probably missing somebody.
Coker.
Did I say Coker? I thought
He said Coker.
Okay.
I think I got one more, but I think it's 12 total. We're probably missing somebody. Just give it to Kalen. Will be here. That's right, that's 6.
Yeah, it's impressive.
What did you see out of Markel that you guys liked?
I just love his overall athlete. He's a Southern Miss guy. I mean, we've all talked about it, but you're talking about a local guy. He's just I mean, he can play anything. Offense, defense, he hits you. I mean, he's athletic. He's a 4'5" guy. He's that 6 foot, 4'5" guy. And just, you know, he's been here. He's been at camp. We watched him play. To me, he was that under the radar guy that you wake up, you know, 2 or 3 years from now and say, where did that guy come from? You know, and he's playing for the Kansas City Chiefs one day. You know, I mean, he's a Southern Miss guy. He's very talented, and you know, he's a multi-talented athlete. He can play a lot of different positions.
Neither of the quarterbacks are coming in early.
Here, Jaden might be able to. We'll see. But right now, we'll see how that goes.
You talk about hidden needs. You guys really went heavy offense.
Yes, sir. Offense and offensive line.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was our need. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I mean, I really felt like this past season, what we got to improve is up front. You know, that was a spot that we identified and recruited and we attacked. You know, so you know, we're gonna create competition there. So these guys coming in, they'll all be battling. We're gonna put the ball out there just like we do in all positions and let them compete. The best man wins the job. But again, we had a good mix. And I say that because you look at the junior college guys are all those 6'5" to 6'7" guys. They're athletic, they can move, they're road graders. And then you look at our high school kids, like the Cokers, and Louis is already that guy that's bench pressing right at, you know, 400 pounds. He's physically ready. Coker's already physically ready. He's at mid-high 300-pound bencher with that 6'2", 6'3" frame. And so those guys are physically ready, just like Trace was last year. Trace was physically ready. So even the high school guys coming in, Jerquan is a big athletic guy, you know, and then you look at, you know, he is big, he's strong, he's fast. I mean, he plays D-line, O-line, tight end, H, scores touchdowns, sacks the quarterback, then road grades people at offensive tackle, you know. I mean, he's a multi-talented athlete. And then, of course, and Matt's a young man that we just think is going to be an outstanding football player too, because he's got that big frame. He's going to be that 6'7" long tackle. But what we did, Tim, I thought we got some girth, and I thought we got some length on our offensive line, and I thought that was critical. You know, if you would have asked me, you know, before signing date or back in, you know, September, you know, our focus in this signing class was offensive, but it was mainly offensive linemen. You know, that's what we were committed to sign a lot of offensive linemen. Now, and if you look at the signing class, there's a lot of offensive players on this signing list. You know, but again, we lost Ladarius on defense. We lost a few linebackers. Hopefully, we'll replace with a few linebackers. We replaced with Eric, with Ladarius. We didn't really lose. We lost Picasso and Xavier, but we got some young men that didn't play last year that we redshirted coming up in the defensive back ranks. So we felt like, hey, we're going to be okay in our numbers in the defensive backfield. We got most everybody back there, and we really felt like our young linebacking core is going to be pretty good too. So again, hopefully we'll add a few more linebackers, and you know, we'll be okay defensively. We won't lose any numbers there, but offensively, we were low in our line numbers, and we needed to create some competition there. And always, you know, we want to bring in a couple of playmakers and quarterbacks. You know, that's kind of a yearly focus.
And I'm sure you've probably been asked this. Do you anticipate adding any more during this early period? And if not, are you looking to add in February?
You know me, Tim. You never know. You know that really bad, but you know, we're gonna back it up. But hopefully, we might get one or two more. But we'll see.
Do you think you're going to have enough to go? I know you've always said you like to be too deep on the offensive line. Do you think you might be able to do that now?
For sure. I mean, we'll be too deep. You know, hopefully we'll be too deep. You know, so I hope we'll. To me, it's all about football competition. I mean, you know, I've said this. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We want to compete for championships every year and be consistent. And I think we're doing that. I mean, if we beat UAB, we lost in overtime, give them the credit, they deserve it, they want it. But if we do that, we win the West, you know. So we want to compete for titles, and we want to be consistent. And that's why we're building it from the ground up, recruiting. This is our third class. We're trying to do it the right way, but we're trying to build consistency too. And that's a critical thing. You know, we're not taking any shortcuts. We're trying to do it, but I really do like the talent on this football team. I like the talent on the signing class. So we're building, and again, these guys, I think, are a key ingredient to that build.
It sounds like you anticipate a lot of these guys being able to come in right away and contribute. Obviously,
I really do,
kids
Tim.
always.
I mean, if I go down the list, you know, D. Baker's a guy that, again, I mean, I thought he was the most. You know, you look at D, he's the fastest player in Mississippi, bar none. He's a 10,500 meter guy. He's explosive. He's electric. I went and saw him a year ago. Walked on the field, and I went Northwest Rankin playing Warren Central, and I left the field, and I was like, my gosh, I mean, who is that? You know, I mean, he was the one guy that stood out to me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I feel like, again, it felt like we got, again, a guy, you look at his film, he's going to get it, he's going to go 80, he's going to go 90, he's going to go 60, he's going to go 50. I mean, he's a guy that goes to the house with the football. Luke Baker, we talked about, you know, what a talented, tall, long receiver, Swayze. We had Swayze in camp, and again, Swayze checks all the boxes. You know, he's a low 4.5 40 guy. He's a 400-pound bencher. He's a linebacker, athletic, and we just loved everything. With Marcus and Luke, we got our two tight ends, and then we talked about our linemen and our quarterbacks. You know, it's a great class for us, and again, I think we just fit our needs. That's what we needed.
The last thing, Coach, was on Newsom. Jack Moore is a running back here, or is he one of those
running back is what he will be starting off. TQ is a guy that I know we played quarterback for Gulfport, but really, again, I'm biased. He's a Golden Eagle, and here I am, the head coach of Southern Miss, but we felt he was the best player in the Gulf Coast. Yeah, we felt like TQ was that guy that just made you miss. He ran over people, he ran through people. He was a one-man wrecking crew for Gulfport, and we were just. But we talked to him early. We knew he's not a quarterback. You know, what he is a big guy that gets the ball in his hands. He runs over you, runs through you. But, you know, when you find that 6'2", or right at 215-pound athlete, I mean, he's pretty multidimensional. I mean, he's just a talented big athlete. And again, watching him with the ball in his hands, he does some really good things. So we're going to try him there first.
Anything else? Do you anticipate losing anybody coming down the pike here at the end of this December thing, or is it just going to play out?
It would play out. You know, I don't ever anticipate we'll fight like cats and dogs. Hopefully we won't lose anybody.